Hello, everybody. This is Juan Carlos Brando. Thank you so much for joining us one more time in this Q&A show with the best attorney in the United States of America, one of the best attorneys, the super lawyer. She is awarded best law firms. Well, she has earned a lot of awards during all those 44 years working in this field. So for me, it's an honor and it's a pleasure to introduce to you the attorney Margaret W. Wong, who has been working on this field for over 43 years. And she has gone through all of the changes, different governments, different presidents, different policies regarding to immigration. And now she is really happy to share her knowledge with all of us. So please share this Facebook Live, talk to someone, tell them that we are already live and that these questions are absolutely free. You don't have to pay for these questions. So please join us, share this Facebook Live, and ask your questions free. But if you have more questions or need more information, even more, if you need advice with the attorney Margaret W. Wong and want to set a consultation, the phone number is 216 279 3984. 216 279 3984. But it is really, really good to have this opportunity to ask our immigration questions. So thank you so much, Ms. Wong. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And how cold is it up there in Ohio right now?
It's not as bad actually. This morning, actually, I walked out without a coat, with just regular clothes. It's good.
Okay, that's good. Here in Atlanta, it's changing a lot. So I am struggling a little bit with my health
Oh,
because of the not the not the virus, but seasonal viruses that are around, and my nose is not helping right now. But I am really, really good. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. So regarding to the immigration field, we're almost going to the end of this 2021 year, and we have had a major change that was the new president with new policies um, in many, many areas. But we have still pending the immigration reform that some people are saying that we're going to see it. Other people don't believe that we're going to see an immigration reform. But what is your thought about this immigration reform, and what could we get out of this immigration reform?
one of the little bit of good news is that finally there is rumors, because I personally haven't read it. It's like hundreds and hundreds of pages. In the new bill that was passed by the House, there is a 5-year parole and work permit authorized by people who have been here for a long time. So that would really be nice, because then if you get a work permit, you get a social, and then you also can get a driver's license, and you can also travel, because a lot of people are trapped now. If I'm here for more than a year undocumented, if I leave the country, I cannot return for 10 years. So now that new bill, which, even though for the American public it's just a parole and work permit, but for people like us it's huge. So I hope it passes. It's not a long-term solution. It only gives us 5 years of work permit and travel document. But I really think that's a relief for a lot of people like us who are sort of stuck here or stuck there. So I just got a call this morning. There's a lady that's been here for like maybe 10 years. She left America because her mother was dying. With her two American born kids. Now she took care of the mom's funeral. Mom died, and now she wants to come back. She's there for 4 months. She cannot come back because she was here undocumented for more than a year. So for her to come back, she has to wait for 10 years. So her boss has been calling every lawyer that he knows and say, hey, can you help me bring my worker back? And I'm like, "Ooh," because unless, I mean, he already told me he'll sponsor. He could actually do it to H1A, H1B, and maybe a perm for green card. But because she was here undocumented for more than a year and she left, she needs a waiver, a 601 waiver to come back. And currently, she has no parents or spouses who are green card or citizen. And she divorced her spouse because of domestic violence. So she went her own, she divorced him, that idiot, but now she can come back. So these are things that if only we had that 5-year reform, we got it. She had to leave. She can bring her 2 American-born kids with her, but once she took care of her mother and buried her, she could come back. And that's what President Biden is trying to do.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And yeah, this is very important. And today, by the way, is Veterans Day, which means that we honor those who serve this country, and we are really thankful for what they do. But there was an issue with the prior government, that they were even deporting people that had served this country. Are they still coming back? Are they allowed to come back with the new policies of this government, or they are still stuck back in their countries?
A lot of them are still stuck. It's extremely difficult without congressional or without a federal court like an APA action on mandamus with a federal U.S. District Court to bring them back. We have clients who we won a deportation, but in the meantime, they were already deported. So now it's our job to bring them back, because if you win a removal or deportation case, that means you got the old green card back. But that's another story. And worse is now clients felt, oh my gosh, I waited overseas for 1, 2 years, 3 years. And even though you keep telling me you have won, but you can't bring me back. See, that's why it's sort of sad. That's why we really need something, because in immigration, a little thing like a social security number that people take for granted, or a little work permit for 1 year, for 6 months of parole that people take for granted, it takes years to get. And it's really frustrating, because a person only lives up to, with the COVID, maybe 65 years, 85 years, and we die. Sometimes you're on your deathbed, baby. And I still remember when my 2 kids were born, I was like, oh my gosh, this client need this client need that, and here I'm in my hospital giving birth. So it's really a very emotional journey.
Thank you so much, Miss Wong. And don't forget that Miss Wong will be tomorrow in the city of Nashville, Tennessee. So please call us right now, 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984, and she will be in Nashville, Tennessee. So if you have any questions, go there. The office is very easy to find there in the city of Nashville, and you can go from any city in Tennessee, in Georgia, and some other states that are next to Tennessee. So please, even Arkansas, you can go to the office in Nashville, Tennessee. The phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. This is a very long question, Ms. Wong. So this says, hi, I applied my STEM opt extension on July 27, 2021, and I applied for
Bona
BOBA
fide. Yeah.
five, bona fide,
Yeah.
I-765 on August 2021. Uh, well, this is the same question.
Right.
I got STEM opt and RFE, but they told me I have to contact Vermont Center because they transfer my STEM opt file to Vermont
Yes, let me explain to you what STEM OPT. He must be a very smart student. OPT is whenever you finish your associate degree, your bachelor's degree, your master's degree, your JD degree, your PhD degree, you could get an OPT. In my days, when I came to America as a student, we get 18 months, but we'll always save it at the end. So for example, your plan is to get a PhD, so you save your OPT during the PhD because you only allow one OPT for all your degrees. The not new, but past 10, 15 years, you can get OPT after associate, you can get OPT. So after OPT, you have STEM, like your science is not MBA, that's not a science. You have biology, chemistry, math majors, you can get a STEM. So his question is, The stamp OPT is filed, but they didn't send an RFE because the case is a good case. They did not adjudicate, they did a file transfer. And that's a serious complaint to President Biden because after Trump left, they hired a lot of these people. They're giving us a hard time. So stamp OPT means I already finished my 12-month OPT. I nothing's entitled, but I'm applying for another 24-month of OPT in STEM. STEM, it should be a given because as long as the employer is an e-verify business and as long as my major is that of a STEM, that means science, I should get it. So, Mr. Patel, if I were you, I won't worry about it. You're really smart. You will get your STEM. It's just a file transfer. That only means that Vermont Center is not as busy as Lincoln, Nebraska, or as California Service Center. So you're so sweet. So you'll be fine. RFV means that you have 90 days to respond. Transfer only means that my office is too busy. We want to adjudicate, so I'm transferred to another. So this is good news. At least they didn't forget about you, but I think you'll get it approved. And congratulations.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And if you need more information, please call 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984 is the phone number that you can call to set your appointment for consultation with Ms. Margaret W. Wong. The next question is coming through our YouTube channel, Ms. Wong, and it says, my husband was deported 20 years ago, but he came back to the United States and he's been here for 11 years already since he came back. I am U.S. citizen.
Number one, don't file the I-1. I don't know why you didn't file the I-130. I feel bad for you. Number one, do the FOIA. See why he was deported 20 years ago. There was a time, if I presume maybe he came from Mexico, because Central Americans didn't come about 20 years ago. Most of them, they got TPS anyway. So if he came and he was deported, I need to know why, because either he's deported by the judge or he was deported at the border. At the border, it's called expeditious removal. There are three ways that the border people can deport or remove Mexican. Number one is catch and release. That days that because they're minor, they're young, especially years ago, that means they leave, they come back, they leave, they come back. That's a catch and release. The next thing they can do a voluntary return. That means that they're on the 213, on the deportation papers, on the CBP FOIA, they look at voluntary lower left right hand corner, they say voluntary return, which means that they're voluntarily left. They also could voluntarily withdraw or expeditious removal. Expeditious removal means that you have misrepresented yourself as an American citizen, as your sister who had a visa. So number one, do that FOIA. There's 6 FOIAs: FBI, CIS, CBP, court, and there's an A number. You need to find a US specific A number. And then the next thing is he came as anytime if he was really deported, I hope it's not, but if he was really expeditious removed and came back, you may or may not want to file even the I-130 because the days when they do the interview, like years ago when Trump was here, even when Obama was here, they will deport us right back. That's why it's really sad to be Latino because Canadians, it doesn't matter. It's more the Mexicans. With Central America, they don't normally leave and come back. So that's what number one, I was check the FOIA. Why was he deported? Number two is look at it because there's a Ms. Chavez. Look at the NTA if he's not deported by land, because in those states they also do a job rate. A lot of places they just do a job rate, they round everybody up. They got the government to pay for a big plane, maybe a charter private plane, and put everybody back to Laredo, Texas, and you just walk across the border. And the second day they came back, and some of them they're so busy deporting they forgot to take the fingerprint. Which means that whenever we do a FOIA, we couldn't find the deportation. It drives me nuts, But that's what I would do. It's not hopeless. Check, why was he deported? I presume you were not married to him yet. I presume you're an American citizen at that time. And I do have a lot of clients who didn't want to wait back home, so they come. They came back the second day. But definitely do your FOIA and see why. Because especially now, there are a lot of new laws that came in to help people like you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And don't forget the phone number is 216 279 3984, 216 279 3984. Um, Lopez Pascual is asking, I have a question. I have T visa, but I wanted to ask if I can, if it can be applied before the date. I still have 2 years to go to apply the residence.
So I presume you got the T visa already. It's awesome. That means that your T visa is it's the three visa. U visa is a victim of crime. S visa is more like a snitch, which means that you need law enforcement signature. I have a S visa now that I'm very excited about. T visa is an illegal transport. That means probably a snakehead or someone, a broker told you can get a good job here. And then once you come here, they pay you, low wages. That's a transport. So if you already applied for a T visa, it was approved, that's awesome, because there was a time it takes only 3 weeks to 6 months. Nowadays it's taking about 9 months to 12 months. It's still better than a U visa is taking years. But I don't know your question. If you're already approved, then you wait to get a green card. If it's not approved, you could file it, but check with your lawyer. T visa and S visa and U visa, these are very specialized visas, because some visas you don't need the law enforcement signature, but don't lie about it, because we have cases where they have lied about, especially years ago when there was a big Asian and Korean prostitution rings, and people would come and pay like $10 for a woman to take phone calls, and there'll be three women in the room, and they'll be they don't sometimes they want to save money, they don't have a bodyguard. So also those are T visa cases, and then there's a sting operation, and it's just years ago they've been doing it. So I don't understand your question. If you have it, wait and get a green card. In the meantime, you should get a work permit. If you don't have it, apply for it. It's not that hard to get a T visa.
Miss Wong, probably he's asking if he can file for the green card now before
The
the
date I still
this
here.
T visa is expired.
I have to check it for you, because U visa you have to wait 3 years, but I think T and S visa I think you can even do it after 1 year. But all you have to do is Google USCIS how long do you have to wait after T visa approved to file for U visa. If not, I'll put my answer on Facebook for you. I have to check for you, because actually my paralegal may know faster than I do. So the
Thank you.
question is, do I have to wait for 2 more years, or can I file for green card now? Good,
Okay,
because they have a set time you have to apply, and I will check.
perfect. Thank you so much, Miss Wong,
Thank
for
you.
this answer. And don't forget that Miss Wong will be in Nashville, Tennessee tomorrow. She will be traveling tomorrow to see people in person. And well, Miss Wong, after a few weeks that you have been traveling again, how do you feel?
It's fun seeing clients, see their eyes, their sadness, their happiness. And I think it's fun, because it's not like years ago. I mean, I've been seeing clients for 45 years. People don't get that negative energy, or that fear, or that uh, anger. This morning, I met someone from England, married to a really high earner executive lady from a major company in Cleveland. So I was so proud. They came together, and both of them are in their 50s. Both of them find happiness in this marriage, but he doesn't want to get the green card. He wants a student visa. So, and as you know, student visa is a pain, because you have to have 5 months here and 4 months there. And then he just graduated, but he wants to go to school only in January. So it's just, so I'm explaining, you're already married, you might as well get a green card. So there's a lot of anger, I think, in this. It's not like before it's very much a happy practice. People are not that nervous, they're just happy to be in America and working. Now it's like it's very difficult to even get a tax ID number, and if you're on a student visa, they won't give you a social. And then how do you even, and these are white people, I mean, they're not even people like us, that it's different. So the world has changed in what I do, but you just need to change with it. But traveling is fun, because you get to meet people, you get to see them, you know how the world is. And I thank everything America have done for me, because it's nice that I could afford it. You can get on a plane, because there was a time that I was so poor I can't even fly. So it was very nice.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for sharing this answer. with so many people that they want to see you and maybe don't understand how it works when you are traveling every single day, and you are traveling in a slower frequency than before, because I remember before the pandemic you were traveling one city on Monday, one city on Tuesday, then Cleveland on Wednesday, then other city on Thursday, other city on Friday. I would say, wow. And even on Saturdays, you were calling people back because they wanted to talk to you. So thank you so much for all the effort you do every single day for all your people. Ms. Wong, this next question says, I am from Haiti and I crossed the border in February 2020. I want to apply for asylum now, and my wife has a tourist visa and wants to come in December. But what happens if I apply for asylum now? Will she have a problem when she comes?
Absolutely. I shouldn't say absolute. So because when she comes, she'll go on a tourist line. The question will be, they look at your passport, they say, are you so and so? You say yes, because there's a lot of people waiting behind you. So if they don't ask, you don't necessarily have to tell them. It should not hurt because she has a tourist visa, you don't. But let me explain to the listeners why this is a very sophisticated question. What they're saying is that when I come to America, if they ask, am I married, why are you here, especially from Haiti, because right now there's a lot of problems with Haitians coming through the border. So if they answer, my husband is in America, they may ask, how did she come? Because all they have to do is look into the database. There was a time that the CBP computer, they have a little black book, right? So they'll just, we call them a black book. So people's names that the potential terrorists or whatever his name is in there, they just check that file and they're done, because those were days they don't really have a computer. Now everything is computer. Once they ask for husband's name, they just have to check the CIS web, because asylum is filed with CIS. The border people, CBP, they just have to Google, and then asylum means is permanent intent. Tourist visa means I'm only coming temporarily to visit, to visit Disney World and stuff. So that means, am I lying that I'm just coming for 3 months or 6 months? Or am I really joining my husband? Because technically, if he won asylum, because it's a 1 year filing, he came in February 2020. Um, uh, Oh, he missed a 1 year. So in any event, the computer would not show you miss your 1 year, because he came in 2020, February 2021. Now it's already November. So I don't know why he did not file within a year, because the chances of winning is high. So in the meantime, so this is a permanent intent, there's a temporary intent. So immigration at the border may ask, and also because, Haitians are African American, there is a lot of racism in this, what we do. So they may ask, but normally they won't ask. But you're right, it is a problem. So maybe buy a round trip ticket and maybe be prepared to convince them, even though you are applying for asylum, that she's not. Her purpose is just to come and visit and leave because she misses you or she's sick or something.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. People from Haiti are going through really hard time right now. So if you want to call Ms. Wong before you make any decision, give her a call. The phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. I am Venezuelan. I got my work authorization and I want to do my driver's license, but I haven't received my social security number. What should I do? I have received the approval of my TPS 2 months ago.
That's awesome because Venezuelan TPS only started a few months ago. You got it. That's very good because we have a lot of listeners, in fact, asking, is Venezuelan TPS being approved? And yours was approved 2 months ago. So sometimes I think God or destiny or Buddha work in different ways. They give you TPS 2 months ago, but you didn't get a social, which is weird. Go to the internet and just type in, or just go see a social office. They'll give it to you within 15, 30 days. Some like Ohio, as long as you have a work permit TPS, they will give you a driver's license. You don't need a social. So check with the state where you are in and see if you need a social. If not, you can just go. In Ohio, we don't need a social, but tell them the truth. That they ask you, do you have a social? Don't say yes when you don't have it, Don't assume you have to say yes. Because if you say yes, they want to see it. If you say no, they'll still give you a driver's license.
That that's a very good thing. That's in Ohio, Miss Wong.
Yes, that's in Ohio.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. And this next question says, I am a high school teacher. I have a kid in my classroom. He's 15. Both of his parents died in Guatemala, and he is now
Yes,
here
you
in the
can
US.
do what we call dependency action. Since they're only 15, you don't need, and you have both parents died. The thing is, the weird thing about dependency action is one or both parents have to have abandoned, neglected, or abused the kids. In this case, both died. So we need to find out if one of them, before he or she died, have abandoned, neglected, or abused. As long as one of them have neglected, abuse, or neglected you, then you can do a water court. That's a dependency action. Depends on your state. Some state does it under 18. Some state does to do it, like Alabama is under 19, but most states are under 18. New York is under 21.
Thank you so much, Miss Wong. We have a very long comment here. Uh, well, let's try to read. I think this is a very thankful person that is writing. First of all, thank you to Margaret Wong, Karen Guillermo, and Alison T. Chan. I very appreciate that Margaret Wong took my immigration case on her hand. This journey had started on November 2015. First time with Margaret in Atlanta office, she only spoke to me about 10 minutes in her office, and she told me that she will get the approval of my case in 5 years. That time, my mind was not ready to accept that she will get my case approved in 5 years, because before I did consult her, and before I went to do the consultation with her, I saw another attorney or lawyer, and this is all we have here, Miss Wong, about the answer. But in fact, this person is saying that maybe he saw someone else before he saw you, and you had a solution for him in 10 minutes. So thank you so much to Nayam Patel for this comment. This next person says, I came on a B1, B2 visa, and in the process of adjusting my status as I am now married to a US citizen.
Unauthorized is a good question. I came to America on a tourist visa. In the meantime, I started working, and I've been paid, but the company is not. It doesn't matter. Unauthorized work, you might as well be honest with immigration. Unauthorized work is not a bar to green card, except if you came on a tourist visa at time of application of the tourist visa or at time of entry of the tourist visa, your intent is to work. So make sure you did not work and would not have been working for 90 days after you came on a tourist visa. So, for example, I came 10 years ago. I did not start working because I couldn't get a job or whatever. I had no intent to work until 6 months ago, which is 9.5 years ago. Now I'm married to an American citizen. Can I still get my green card? The answer is yes, because at time of application of my tourist visa 10.5 years ago, at time of entry 10 years ago, I have no intention to work, and I did not work, and I did not get a job until 6 months after I enter. So now I've been undocumented illegally working for 9.5 years. I've filed tax return. I've not underreported my tax. Now I'm happily married to an American citizen. Can I adjust? The answer is yes. So first you filed I-130, 485, 765, and I-131, and she has to file the A64. Then about 3 weeks to 12 weeks to get a receipt notice, and then within 1 or 2 weeks to get a fingerprint notice. But now because the virus may be slower, and then you get a work permit. If you do this I-131, you get a parole, and then you get a work permit. Then you go for the interview. During the interview, make sure you bring on your tax return. Make sure you bring a lot of bona fide. That means relationship papers. If you have children. If you don't, that's okay. Don't have babies, because I have a lot of clients say, "Oh, I don't have a baby. Should I have a baby before I apply?" Absolutely not. Your life is your life. You don't have to have a baby to prove joy that you're sleeping together, because a lot of people don't want children nowadays in this world. So make sure you bring a lot of documents, tax returns, leases, and make sure you don't have like 10 roommates in that apartment. I have some cases where there's a 3-bedroom house, they have 10 roommates. So how do you have a joint life? You can't sleep together. The 10 people in the same house every day. And try to stay like in Indians, Chinese, we stay with our parents when we're happily married. The government asks why. Sometimes they'll take your phone and say, tell me, how many times do you talk to your wife a day? Because if it's a phony marriage, you don't talk to them. But if it's a naggy real marriage, we yell at each other and stuff this on the phone. So make sure the phone have connections, with your wife, or they'll ask, what's the phone number of your wife? And if you forget, you say, oh, because it's on my phone, so show them your phone. Stuff like that. Because those interviewers, that's all they do every day. They know if it's a real or phony, but no problem. Illegal work doesn't bar green card.
Yeah, this person is actually working from Ghana, where the company is, and it's virtual work is what they are adding here in the comments as well.
Okay, Ghana also you have to make sure this is your first marriage or second marriage because Ghana, they suspect that, and I don't know your wife, but you have to make sure your wife also either is foreign born as a naturalized citizen because, and also make sure the tax return is done married because Ghana they don't, and also make sure when you came to America on a tourist visa, you said if you were single, you say you're single. If you're divorced, you say divorced. If you're married, you're married. If you have two children, say it because a lot of times they say you have three children and you say you're single when you're married. If you were married, make sure you do a divorce before you marry someone else because Ghanese they look at these things because that's a profile case.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And this question: a person who was punished for 10 years for using
No.
a fake ID.
Anytime you have a fake ID, it's fraud is forever non-waivable, but depends. If you can do, if it's a 42B case, so it's a 10-year cancellation case, a 10-year non-LPR 10-year removal of cancellation of removal, then 10 years shows good moral character for the fake ID. So I don't know if you are a criminal convicted for using a fake ID or at the border using a fake ID, I won't worry too much about it. If you're married to an American citizen, there's a criminal conviction, the American citizen or your American or green card parents can give you a pardon. That's a 601 case. And that I'm glad you asked this question. You need to don't look at you always have to figure out a macro planning, how am I going to get my green card? Is it a marriage case? It's a 245I labor certification case. And then once you look at the macro, now you look at the micro and said, now I have this. It's like playing poker. It's the art of war. The Prince. I don't know if you love to read. I love to read. So you look at the Art of War. You read The Prince. You look at the old Pat Conroy. Now he lost his anger. Read all these anger books. It's a war. So even though I had used a fake ID 10 years ago, how did you use a fake ID? Is a fake ID for work permit? As long as you never say you're American citizen, it could be forgiven. Also now remember, it's Biden, is not Trump, even though some Trump people are there. This is only a very minor issue and a big issue. The big issue is how, if you're overseas, how do you want to come back? If you're here, how do you want to adjust to green card? How do I get a work permit? And then we'll take care of a fake ID problem. I don't think fake ID it is a major problem, but it's not that major as to stop your life and stop your visa.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And we are done for today. A lot of questions today. Thank you so much for all the people. Well, the referral is the best advertising. So thank you so much for each and everyone that sent good comments to Ms. Wong. We know that we have a lot of Patel last names in the files. I would say thousands of files with this last name. So there must be something in common. So if you call Ms. Wong, just dial this phone number 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984, and she will be able to help you no matter where you are at. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, and see you next week.
Thank you. See you
And
next
have a
week.
safe trip to Nashville tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.